Welcome. This is Still Becoming, a quiet space for noticing the moments where life keeps moving, even when we think it's finished. I'm glad you're here. There's a difference between getting older and saying, I'm old. Most of us don't notice when that difference first appears. It doesn't arrive on a birthday. It doesn't come with a number. It usually enters as a sentence we repeat, quietly, casually, until it starts to sound like fact. When my daughter was 13, she thought 20 was old. Truly old. Now she's 33, and that word means something entirely different to her, which tells us something important already. Old is not fixed. It's relational. Its shifts depend on where we're standing. I'm too old for that. I'm just old now. That's not for me anymore. But getting older is simply what life does. From the moment we are born, we are aging. Every breath, every season, every change. Aging isn't a failure of youth. It's the continuation of being alive. I'm old, on the other hand, is not a description of time. It's a decision. I've seen this decision take shape very differently across a lifetime. My father-in-law believed 80 was old, not because of how he felt, but because no one in his family had lived beyond that age. In his mind, 80 was the edge. My mother, by contrast, died at 88, still feeling young and vital. She felt she had more life to live, more curiosity, more becoming. Same biology, completely different relationship with age. When someone says, I'm old, they are rarely talking about their body. They're usually talking about permission they've withdrawn from themselves, permission to learn something new, permission to be awkward again, permission to change their mind, permission to begin. My husband began to feel old around 50 when stiffness appeared in his body, the natural result of a lifetime without stretching, without tending. Not age itself, but neglect interpreted as inevitability. Getting older keeps us in motion. I'm old brings that motion to a stop. And the strange thing is, you can meet people who are chronologically young, who have already stopped moving inwardly, and others decades older who are still expanding. So age, clearly, is not the deciding factor. Every decade is marked as a milestone, a reminder that time is passing, that we are aging, and that we are getting older. But somewhere, often beginning around 40, those milestones quietly shift tone. They stop being neutral markers and start being interpreted as verdicts. Getting older has a posture of curiosity. It says, my body is changing. What does it need now? My energy is different. How do I work with it? My priorities are clearer. What can I finally let go of? I'm old has a posture of resignation. It says, this is just how it is now. There's no point. I missed my window. One is adaptive. The other is a quiet closing. I'm about to turn 60. My body has limitations. There are disabilities I live with. My skin and hair show the passage of time. And yet, I am only now beginning to truly feel alive. Not despite getting older, because I never resigned to being old. And here's the part we don't say often enough. Many people become old not because of time, but because of grief they have never metabolized. Losses accumulate. Disappointments calcify. Dreams go unattended. At some point, saying, "I'm old," becomes a way to explain the weight, even though the weight didn't come from age at all. Getting older doesn't mean pretending we are limitless. It means being honest. Honest about recovery time. Honest about capacity. Honest about what no longer matters. But honesty is not the same as surrender. A body that needs more care is not a body that's done. A life that has narrowed in some ways may be widening in others. Getting older asks better questions. I'm old stops asking altogether. This is why bucket lists exist. Not because we are running out of time, but because something in us refuses to go dormant. Big lists, small lists, quiet lists no one else ever sees. They are rarely about accomplishment. They are about orientation. A way of saying, I am still in conversation with my life. So here is a simple challenge. Not to write a list, but to name one thing you have quietly postponed. Not because you can't do it, but because you decided it was too late. Just one. And instead of asking whether you'll ever do it, ask a more honest question. What would it feel like to take one small step toward it now? So maybe the question isn't, how old am I? But instead, where have I stopped moving? And why? What am I protecting myself from? What would curiosity look like at this stage, exactly as it is? Getting older doesn't end your life. Resignation does. And the good news, the deeply hopeful news, is that resignation can be noticed. And anything that can be noticed can be gently undone. In the episodes that follow, we'll explore the quiet moments where people often mistake pause for ending and how to tell the difference. Before we end, let's take one slow breath in, not to change anything, just to notice where you still feel alive. And let the exhale be unforced. If something in you shifted while listening, let it move at its own pace. We'll continue next time.